Okay. Hafa and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Um, I'd like to say Managuf Talawani, a very happy afternoon this afternoon here on March 5th, Wednesday. It's about 2:04 p.m. and this is a roundtable meeting regarding housing and renewable energy. And I'd like to call this roundtable from the Committee of Municipal Affairs, Tourism, Housing, and the Hagatna Restoration and Redevlopment Authority will come to order. And I'd like to thank everybody for joining me this afternoon. I want to say as Oversight Committee for Housing, I felt it was incumbent upon me as the chairperson for the Housing Committee to conduct this roundtable to meet with all of you folks for the purposes of providing this committee with the latest information relative to affordable housing and the advances in the field of renewable energy, to include any challenges that you may be facing with respect to your programs. Joining me this afternoon is the good minority leader, Senator Tony Ada. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And I want to share with you that in our efforts with working with the Affordable Housing Coordinating Council, I'd like to welcome the chairman who's joined me this afternoon, the executive president for Guam Housing Corporation, Mr. Martin Beneventi, and also the executive director from the Guam Housing Urban Renewal Authority, Mr. Mike Duenas. And as we look at ways to provide our community with more affordable housing, this is one step of bringing our stakeholders together. Before I turn the table over to both the government agencies to just do a couple of welcoming remarks and asking Gria to do a presentation for us, I'd like to go ahead and ask the other members from the community who are here, at least to state your name for the record and where you're from, and I just say thank you for being here. So we'll go around the table and we'll start with my gentleman from my right. Yeah. Go ahead and turn on the...
Mike Eckstein, Chief Operating Officer with Isla Energy from Colorado, but live here now. So.
And I'm Tom Tehan, Chief Executive Officer of Isla Energy, and also from Colorado, but living here now.
Tracy Bacola from Micronesia Renewable Energy and is also Secretary of GRIA. We're originally from New Jersey and we've made Guam a home.
Dorothy Schulteis, Assistant Manager for the Guam Strategic Development Regional Center, and I'm here to support the program. And I'm a resident of Guam. I'm originally from here, Hapahauli, and I've been here back 21 years.
Bill Hagan with GRIA, and I've been here forever.
Jeff Facola, President of the Guam Renewable Energy Association, better known as GRIA. Thank you.
Joe Rosario with Micronesia Renewable Energy. I too am from Guam, born and raised.
My name is Martin Beneventi. I'm President of Guam Housing Corporation and Chairman of the Affordable Housing Council. So many titles sometimes. I don't know. I know that I'm here because we need to do this renewable energy. It's way past its time already. And I wanted to use the example of Second Delajan, how that disaster happened, and people were given homes in Second Delajan, and they were given for almost free. They called it the dollar home, so they gave them for $1, and they told their people to live there. But after not being able to pay for their power and water I'm hoping that through renewable energy, we can find solutions to cutting the cost down, because in the last 3 years we've managed to get people to admit that we can build houses for a lot cheaper. Now, as we make the houses cheaper, we need to find a way to get power, water, and everything else in there for a lot less than what we're paying for it today. And it's a solution that's sitting here. I've met you guys several times already. We've come to the legislature to try to do something. And when I was called for this meeting, I was saying that I hope that some kind of legislation comes out of this, and I was assured that it would. So that part, I'm so happy to hear. So, and of course, I want to say some more, but Mike knows me. If he doesn't take the mic now, he's gonna never gonna stop.
Thank you, Mr. President, Chairman. Did I leave anything out?
No.
Okay. Hi. My name is Michael Duenas. I'm the Executive Director for the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority. The cost of energy is something that we're very concerned with at GURA. We provide utility reimbursements to about 300 of our public housing families and over 1,000 of our Section 8 families. A utility reimbursement is given to families who, based on their income, will need assistance in not only for the rent but also to pay for the utilities. Over the years, as we're seeing a trend that when people drop out of our programs, it's for program violations. And one of the more frequent program violations is their power and water have been disconnected. And it is very frustrating when we see that the family has been receiving utility reimbursements. The cost of living doesn't help, but also the cost of power and water is going up. And for them, they're struggling to make do with what they have. And we would like to see the issue of the cost of power addressed once and for all, so that we can all afford to live on this beautiful island. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duenas. And also joining us is one of the board members from Guam Housing Urban Renewal Authority, Ms. Cecilia Suda. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. And anyone else who's out there in the audience, you're more than welcome to sit here on the table. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the president of the Guam Renewable Energy Association, Mr. Jeff Vocola.
Thank you very much.
Make sure that light is on.
Okay, thank you. And thank you again for having us. We really appreciate it. The Guam Renewable Energy Association. For those who do not know about our association, we are a trade association here on Guam. We're listed as a nonprofit. We're a 501c6. And our goals, our mission statement is basically to reduce Guam's carbon footprint, as well as helping the community lower their overall energy costs. And this can be accomplished, we believe, through the legislature, education on the private and public sector, best practice measures, which we feel are very, very important here on Guam. I've spent a lot of time traveling through this area of Micronesia, especially through the Marshalls and the Federated States of Micronesia. And we've seen so many bad installations that, number one, it drags the industry down, and number two, it's just money spent for naught. Contractors come in, they do renewable energy installations, mostly solar energy, and it's shoddy equipment at best. And after a year's time or 2 years' time, batteries are swelled up, not functioning, and the systems don't work anymore. There's no parts on the island, and there was nobody that's really trained to maintain those systems. So that's what we want to really be careful here on Guam. Gotcha. We have not been around that long. We incorporated actually in August 2013. We have 25 member companies now, over 100 members. Most of our companies in GREA are solar energy, LED lighting experts, energy auditors, engineers, architects, some construction companies. We have 7 board members in GREA. And one of our accomplishments in this year, which we're pretty proud of, is helping to get Bill 7432, which I believe it was 3295 now? Public Law 3295, which is signed into law by Governor Calvo, which allows the DOE now to put 40 schools in their administration building out for power purchase agreements. So just an estimated, they'll save over $4 million, the Department of Education. That money now is going to be put back into the schools and not towards energy, which is fantastic. But you senators were the true heroes for getting that law passed, so thank you. Thank you for that. Guam's opportunity, and it's a massive opportunity now in front of us. Solar energy for affordable housing. Over the last 3 years, solar energy and any type of energy efficiency has come down tremendously over the past 2 to 3 years. So there couldn't be a better time to try to match the two up. The technologies here that we feel would be a perfect technologies to utilize here on Guam. Of course, solar energy, because Guam is just blessed with a abundance of natural solar radiation. Energy efficiency, you know, simple things that can be used: window tinting, solar shading, LED lighting, building envelope efficiency measures, exterior lighting timers. As I drive around the island and visit facilities, I just can't believe how many buildings have exterior light fixtures that are on and just burn 24/7. And really, it just comes down to an $18 photocell that needs to be changed out. So a lot of energy efficiency measures that are simple measures. And then, of course, solar thermal with the water heating. And then a new technology now on island, solar air conditioning, which is fantastic. One of the goals for GRIA, or one of our initiatives this year, is the PACE program. We really like to see the PACE program turned into legislature and eventually turned into a bill. What PACE stands for, it's the Property Assessed Clean Energy. It allows property owners to borrow money from local governments. That could be done in numerous ways. I like one way that it can be handled is through a private and a public partnership, that type of finance vehicle. And GRIA right now is in the process of helping draft up some of that legislature that can be introduced. It's a fantastic program. It's no upfront cost at all to the homeowner. The debt is not carried by the homeowner. And if the homeowner decides to sell the property, it's just transferred to the new owner. So it's a great program that should be introduced. So we're working on that now. And PACE programs, it's a municipality financing tool, barred against local governments, and it can be repaid through a tax assessment. Can also be paid back through a utility bill. So numerous ways that the financing can be accomplished. Another vehicle that I like a lot, which could absolutely be accomplished here on Guam, is a energy efficient mortgage. And what this does, there's actually two types of a energy mortgage. One's a energy improvement mortgage, and the other one's an energy efficiency mortgage. So this could be accomplished on homes that are already built or new homes as affordable homes. And we're going to get into some numbers here that really explain how this can be done. But one example here is if a homeowner for a brand new facility or an existing facility adds $20,000 to their mortgage to finance any type of solar or any type of renewable energy upgrades, it's easily offset by the savings for the added expense of the energy systems. So example number one here is a $100,000 home, 30-year mortgage at a 6% interest. They were roundabout numbers. So you can see the first column is adding on the $20,000. So now the mortgage goes from $100,000 to $120,000. So the mortgage cost amortized over a 30-year period would be $719.46. Without the energy improvements, it would be $599.55. You come down now, so that's zeroing out a typical, 1,500 to 1,800 square foot house. The monthly energy expense would be just the administration bill from GPA, which is $11.33. But the bill without that $20,000 of energy improvements would be about $186.34. So at the end of the month, with the energy efficiency placed on the dwelling, you can see that the monthly cost is $730 with the energy efficiency and almost $86 without. So Jeff, go to the next graph. So you took a home, you added $20,000 of energy efficiency to this home, and the homeowner actually saves $55.10 a month. That's $661.20 annually. So that gives back disposable income to the homeowner, which now will eventually flow back to the economy of Guam. An energy efficiency mortgage can also be used to increase the home buyer's purchasing power, and that's accomplished through a debt-to-income ratio. But it makes sense. The bottom line makes sense. So the bottom line is introducing these types of programs into the affordable housing and to existing homeowners who really can't afford renewable energy systems. Being in this industry now here on Guam for almost 18 months, the biggest drawback or the biggest obstacle that we're seeing is access to capital. People are strained right now. They're barely making ends meet right now. They cannot afford renewable energy systems, and they're the people who need it the most. So now by implementing these types of programs, you're not only creating an industry, you're reducing the poverty level, but we'll get into how this renewable energy industry will also benefit Guam with just giving people opportunity for this brand new industry. And by incorporating these programs for low-income home buyers on Guam, we're finally, I foresee we can make home ownership a reality. Ever since I've been on this earth, that's always been the American dream. I believe that will always be the American dream, to own a home. So this can be accomplished. Mr. Beneventi made a good point. People finally get into these houses, but they can't afford to cool them. They can't afford to operate them. So this is a way where they can actually be cash flow positive from day one. And this is the solution that should be incorporated into all of these houses being built here on Guam. Energy awareness, energy efficiency, smart policies, solar energy, and LED lighting. And correct me, please, if I pronounce this wrong, but I've been trying all day to get this phrase down. So, Anafa Malak. Anafa Malak, making it good together. And that's what I believe that we can do. I think moving forward, one of the things that should be done here to give us the structured framework that we need to build on with these policies is the adoption of the Guam Strategic Energy Plan that was accomplished in July 2013. For anybody who has not read that, I encourage you to, please. It was a energy plan that was put together between NREL and Bill, the committee that you're on. Right. It's a very comprehensive, very complete energy plan. So I believe the first thing should be the adopting of that plan, and then working together with council to get these programs put together. I think that's it's a must. It's a must, and especially for the affordable housing, it's definitely a must. I'd just like to play a short video if I can. Yeah.
property tax bill. Also, PACE financing doesn't require a credit check. Since it's on your property tax bill, Uncle Sam is pretty good about making sure that he gets paid, so the financing is very secure. How PACE programs benefit society. PACE programs create local contractor work. These are jobs that cannot be exported overseas. Since the financing is so secure, the city is able to raise the money for it, meaning the programs don't eat into any other city programs that are in the budget. Finally, PACE programs help accelerate America to being a leader in green home technology.
Thanks, Jeff. One other point I wanted to make too, with implementing renewable energy and affordable housing, we're creating not only opportunities and a way for people to afford these houses, but we're actually creating a third industry, I believe, here on Guam, which is the renewable energy industry. Every day I pick up the paper, I'm reading about, our youth being arrested for different things, and now we have the National Guard coming back who are looking for training opportunities. The renewable energy industry is just a fantastic opportunity to train our youths, not just for the build-up here in Guam on renewable energy, but they can work anywhere in the world. And we're going to need a trained workforce to maintain these systems. So renewable energy with affordable housing, renewable energy with the PACE program, it makes sense, it will work, and it will make houses affordable. So thank you.
Does anybody have any questions or comments in reference to the presentation? Does anybody like to say anything? Anybody from the audience have any questions? Ladies and gentlemen, I felt that it was important to bring the nonprofit organization together to share what we can work with and utilize as we look at, like Mr. Beneventi and Mr. Duenas were talking about, how can we truly make our residents here in Guam get into their Guamanian dream of really truly owning their home, but more importantly, as they get into those homes, how can they strategically afford and maintain what they rightfully worked hard for? And as we try to get them in from a government's perspective, how do we have them maintain that? And of course, as noted, the PACE program is one of those things that we can look that can be assessed through that back end. And I know that with the support of the Affordable Housing Coordinating Council, we can move forward swiftly on those issues. I think that as we look at all the efforts that are out there today and what the government and what this legislative body has done today, what other opportunities can be tapped into with knowing that we will work with legislation to include that PACE program. And are there any comments from you, Mr. Tian?
Thank you, Senator. Having both a background in general construction, contracting, both residential, commercial, as well as now the solar industry, there really is a strategic opportunity here for the residents here in Guam to take advantage of bringing these products in on the front end. It's never more cost effective than incorporating these types of measures, efficiency platforms, and of course the actual hardware to go with it than it
something like you can share the panels, like for a group of 6 houses, for instance. You
Wow.
can share panel.
You can, and that's
Is that recommended or?
well, it's called virtual metering, and California was the start of it. They have a program that they introduced, and now it's everywhere, all throughout the states. New Jersey, we've actually put them in New Jersey. It's called community solar. And it's great because even if you have apartment buildings that have renters in there who are normally not able to access renewable energy, now they can by a solar farm or ground-mounted systems that can be transferred through virtual metering. So you can do that, absolutely. You can put in, instead of putting, panels on houses or dwellings, you can actually put in one solar system that will feed unlimited amount of houses. So yes, you can. Yeah, and it's been done through the states, very successful.
That part is interesting. I
Yeah.
like that because we have places like Second Ilanjan. We've got underground electricity there, but if we can tap into something like that, if it's
Yeah.
something technically possible, I don't know.
As of right now, we haven't crossed that bridge with GPA. If
Yeah.
it was off the property or off the premises, but definitely within the premise or the property, we could definitely, that you can do that here. Yeah.
Well, maybe we can get together and look at that. But
Sure.
I also, Senator, came with, we've been discussing this for quite some time now, and we have in place a program, the Housing Trust Fund that Senator Ben had put together with you guys earlier. And I always think that that was the magic source for us to start these kind of programs. We're also talking about how to teach people to do catchment water and things like that, so they don't have to spend all their money from the wells and stuff like that. They don't have to use well water for everything they do. Washing cars, you can use catchment and things like that. And then we're also talking about something that's very close to you, and that's the recycling. There's a company on island now that wants to use broken glass. That's what we call it, broken glass, and they want to put it in their blocks, and it makes it lighter, cheaper, heat resistant, things like that. And if we can take all the glass that we have in Guam and put it into that and have them crush it, we're in business. But the key, I think, is finally, before this session ends, we need to try and fund the Housing Trust Fund. I've been saying that for several years now. The Housing Trust Fund is the answer to a lot of these. It's similar to the Tourist Attraction Fund, where whenever there's something that they need to improve tourism here in Guam, there's this money that sits there, and it taps from things like when a hotel sells, Housing Trust Fund gets 1.5% of the sales of these big hotels. These big hotels, we're giving them tax breaks over the years. Several transactions took place in the last 2.5, 3 years. Hotel exchange hands, but they didn't exchange here locally. They exchanged in Japan, and we didn't see most of that money. I know that we get something from that, but not in a way of their contribution for finally making all those millions that they make when they come here and open a hotel, and let alone in the sale alone, not only the years of operation. I'm not counting that yet, but I think that 1%, 1.5%, I don't care what the percentage is, you just got to start collecting. The other day, you introduced a bill that only nets $27,000 a year, but we didn't push that. We didn't pass it because some people were against it. But I really think that these things are a beginning. $27,000 a year will grow, and we can do things, little things. A lot of people need to see the example of what renewable energy can do for their homes, for their monthly payments. I can do that too, but I can't afford, especially after the senators turned down our raises. So I want to see a way where we can use the housing trust fund and do the same thing we're doing with the down payment, first-time homeowners down payment assistance program. 200 and some people have been helped that way already to get a brand new house. If without that, they wouldn't have been able to. But if we can start saying we'll help these people put renewable energy, it not only saves them individuals a lot of money every month, but it also saves, our island. And we're burning oil that we don't own. Comes in the same ship, but it gets charged in different gas stations with different prices. But it comes on the same ship. So somewhere along the line, we got to stop beating ourselves up. And the beginning is to pass the trust fund. You have that in legislation already, and I would back you to the teeth on that. But if you can pass, I'm sorry, not the trust fund, but the funding for the trust fund.
Yes.
And I know Senator Ben and some of the others will jump on this. The governor would love to see this because it helps a lot of people.
And as committed through the Affordable Housing Coordinating Council,
and we support it.
I think as the stakeholders come in for that official meeting coming up real soon, based on your recommended date, that a resolution will be forthcoming to the legislature to show that the
We will
support.
give you anything, a resolution, anything.
And I just want to say that the commitment here, as in what may be good for an idea today, may not be as pleasant for those in the business community wanting to work in. So what we need to do is have a fair
But
resolution,
the housing, the interest on security deposit does not belong to the landlord. He does not give it back to the tenant. This is what we're asking to put into to the trust fund. It generates right now only $27,000 a year, but it doesn't make it right for the landlords to keep that money either. So we're saying that as we correct something that's wrong, put it into something that would help the average person to own a home that's sustainable. They can have their own power, they can do recycling, they can do water catchment, and get moving with life, because we're stuck in something that's not moving.
yes, please.
One other thing I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge is, everywhere I go in Guam, now having been here for the last 18 months, the thing that I hear most often is how the average resident has altered their lifestyle to afford or not afford, the power and the things that come with it. I think if we look at this with the right view, this is an opportunity to construct a community that steers away from the stigma that often comes with affordable housing. I was born and raised in Hawaii. I watched what affordable housing looked like, and I know a lot of people that just chose to stay living with their parents or living with their grandparents because that wasn't even an option they would consider. And I think when you start incorporating the things that we've talked about today through GRIA and also, what you're going to find is you're going to arrive at a community that is representative of a place that people would want to live, an enhanced environment. By adding a single panel, you could power a light every 80 feet and have a well-lit, beautiful community that would thrive because of it. By having panels on roofs that the houses are cooler, the air conditioning systems work less, and the lighting is LED, it puts off less heat. The environment is better all the way through. We watched Kapolei on the western part of Oahu, as a second city, have mandates put in that they had to have rain catchment in place just for the things you're talking about: watering lawns, washing cars, clothes, those kinds of things. Otherwise, the city wouldn't have even been viable in and of itself. So I think when you look at this as a whole, and that's why I said strategic, I think it's going to take planning, but I think we end up with a community that everyone can be proud of, especially those that move into it. And ultimately, that's what we want. Affordable housing is one thing, but affordable housing that people actually want to be in and can thrive in, I think is a win altogether different.
With GORA, are there any updates from either HUD or USD in reference to programs that could help sustain the programs that are coming out today as it relates to renewable energy?
We don't really have programs specifically for renewable energy, although there are some movement in the public housing, HUD's public housing program to start providing incentives for public housing authorities to pursue more energy efficiency and also to educate the residents to give them incentives to be more energy efficient. In the other side of HUD, Community Planning and Development Division, we're always looking at ways to make our facilities that we build more energy efficient. We're looking at things like additional insulation with facilities like Guam, San Jose. We did put some solar panels there. We recently, or last year, we completed a renovation on 10 units in 10 housing units in the south, and we did get a grant from through the Guam Energy Office to install 10 solar water heaters there. And we're monitoring that. But in terms of business development, there is always opportunities for loans. One of the features that HUD has is something called a Section 108 loan, and that basically provides loans for a variety of uses, including business development. But it is a loan, and so it will have to get repaid. But the interest rates are low, and the annual funding we get from the Community Development Block Grant is pledged as repayment source should the ventures fold. So that's another avenue. We've discussed the possibility of using that Section 108 loan with the Fishermen's Co-op. Unfortunately, there were just too many hoops for them to jump through.
With that being said, if there are no other comments or questions, I would like to ask Ria, if they may, for the listening audience, if there is a number or a place where you can be contacted. We do have a lot of folks listening into this, and as we look at providing those renewable energy and other alternatives as it relates to saving energy, if they can get a hold of you, if they can have you, if you can hook them up with areas or folks to see who is a part of GRIA, how can they do that?
Yeah,
And
thank you very much, Senator. We have a website that will be up and running. It should be live, if not today, it will be live tomorrow. And we can be contacted through the internet on the website at www.guamrenewable.org. So it's www.guamrenewable.org. Or they can also call me. I'm the president of GRIA at 487-3763. But I welcome anybody, please, to call. The renewable energy industry here on Guam is in its infantile stage right now. It's a brand new industry. It's a great industry. It's an industry that needs to happen here on Guam. Spending a tremendous amount of energy or money for the fuel that we use and for the energy that we create. There's, renewable energy right now is affordable, and all of our member companies in GRIA will be on the website, listed on the website. So there's going to be a lot of information on the website. So please, anybody out there that needs to know more or wants to know more about renewable energy, solar energy, LED lighting, solar air conditioner, please contact us.
And your office number is?
And our office number right now is 487-3763.
Or the 632.
Or they can also call 632-2613. Thank you very much.
On an average, though, like a two-bedroom house, small two-bedroom house, what would a system like that cost?
And it really depends, and it's really on the economies of scale, and the reason I say that is if you had one dwelling versus if you were building 300 dwellings, the price, of course, would be a lot different. But a basic, and I've seen your layout on a basic affordable housing unit, that unit would probably cost about between, $14,000 and $16,000, $17,000, somewhere in that range.
assistance of the government or somebody.
Right.
For most people that are building today, especially the ones that come through Guam Housing Corporation, they won't be able to afford it. That's why we need this funding of the trust fund, so we can, out of that, legislate a program that says that grants can be issued or loans can be issued to add on to the housing cost or whatever that is.
Right.
To the loan in the beginning, from startup.
There's
So that's the only point I'm trying to make there, is that without that, it's probably not going to happen.
Right.
And when the first time we met, I was just saying, nice, but can't afford it. But now, if we can get this bill passed and we can get some of these monies available, to help these people out that want to participate in this renewable energy program, then we can do it. It can be done. But it takes this community to, put some things aside and just pass something.
You're correct. And as Tom noted earlier, if you do it on the front end and now you take that same system and you amortize it over a 30-year period in the loan, it makes perfect sense. The numbers work, they pencil out, and it's affordable. It is.
About it because you joined us in our housing expo,
Right.
and we discussed it there and things like that. And at that time, the governor had asked me to talk to you guys and see what we can do. And this is the answer to that question. Here's what we can do. So I'm just saying again, and I'm starting to repeat myself. Let's do this. I mean, let's pass something. And I say that because she's still my number one friend.
I think Jeff's done a lot of work on the PACE program. I know he's been submitting some paperwork and putting together the legislation. If the legislature would get behind the PACE program like they got behind the power for the schools, this could all be done in this calendar year. It's an election year. Everybody wants to get behind it. You tell us what you need from us to get this passed, and we can make that happen. And do the legislation properly so it comes out in a form that it works for everybody. So you let us know what you need, and we can help you make it happen.
Definitely eagerly waiting for the finished draft from you guys. So with that being said, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank everybody for being here. Again, as we continue to look at ways of making affordable housing more realizable for our community, especially realizing the Guamanian dream that this administration, but more importantly, the people of Guam are looking at, to put everybody into a house that they can afford, that they can call themselves having their own home, so that they can live with their families. I think this is what the effort that we're all trying to work for in this table. We will continue to work together. We will continue to meet with the administration through the Affordable Housing Coordinating Council, and I do want to thank my good friend for keeping me on as his co-chair, and we're working closely with this administration and the governor who truly wants to see that vision happen. And as noted, we need to work in this step, but more importantly, bring it up to the forefront. We do have some conferences that we'll be in and some housing symposiums that will continue for the year 2014. I think we have that date slotted for June and a couple of months after that, right? So to the listening audience out there, please stay tuned. We have more programs as it relates to affordable housing and bringing in renewable energy into play with that now, in collaborating and integrating those efforts and programs together. With that being said, I will call this this round table hearing to a close. It's 2:55 p.m. Sana Maasi for your time. Have a good afternoon.